This inquiry preview will help you prepare the light and mirrors activity. This hands-on activity will require 2 minutes of prep time, will take 20 minutes to complete, and works best when students are placed in small groups. The purpose of this activity is for students to investigate how light interacts with a mirror. Light reflects off all objects. If it didn't, we would not be able to see those objects. The surface texture of an object affects the way light is reflected. Look at the video clip showing light reflecting off 3 surfaces. A shiny, smooth surface, like the flat aluminum foil, reflects light at the same angle that light strikes the surface. This is known as specular reflection. A mirror is another surface where we can observe specular reflection. A mirror is a highly reflective surface. Mirrors are a sheet of clear plastic or glass that have a very thin metal coating, commonly silver, on one side. The metal coating is then covered with a protective layer of paint. A semi-shiny surface, like the partially crumpled aluminum foil, reflects light in much the same way as a shiny smooth surface, but more light is reflected at other angles. Notice how the reflection of the light on the wall is more spread out and not as bright. A rough or non-shiny surface reflects light in all directions. You can see this by the way light reflects off the piece of white paper. Notice how the wall is brighter but lacks a distinct reflection of the light. This is known as diffuse reflection. As you prepare for this activity, complete this checklist before class starts. First, gather the materials. Each group needs a flashlight and a plastic mirror. Check the batteries in the flashlight. Replace any batteries that no longer have a charge. Consult local and state procedures for the disposal of used batteries. To help ensure a smooth activity, include these topics in your pre-activity discussion with your class. With the help of a student, model how one partner will hold the mirror at stomach level. Remind students to avoid pointing flashlights toward others' eyes. Shining a bright light in your eyes in a darkened room can cause your vision to be temporarily impaired. Remind students to follow directions, especially while the lights are off. If you run short on time, complete this activity as a classroom demonstration. Have your students line up. Give the mirror to the first person in line. Shine the flashlight at the student's torso. Have the student change the direction of the light using the mirror. Have the student hand the mirror to the next person in line and then take a seat to observe the rest of their classmates as they try to change the direction of the flashlight's beam. Consider sharing the Inquiry Rewind video for this activity with your class. Students should follow the procedure for this activity. However, here are a few key ideas to make this activity successful. To get the best reflection of light off the mirror, make sure the light from the flashlight is directly hitting the mirror. Students may need help positioning their hands and arms while holding the mirror. For students to demonstrate the light reflecting off the mirror, tell students to add arrows to indicate direction of the incoming light and to the reflected light. Students should observe that the light from the flashlight could be redirected using the mirror. Listen carefully to the conversations your students are having. If students talk about how a mirror reflects light, but other objects do not, then they are forming or reinforcing a misconception. If students are exhibiting the misconception that only mirrors reflect light, then share with students the demo from the Building Background section of this video. Explain that light reflects off all objects. When students have finished, bring them together to discuss their findings. If some students were unable to view the expected observations, show the Inquiry Rewind student video before starting the discussion. Then, use the questions in the teacher's guide to guide your discussion.